Come on, turn the Heroes Lounge on. It's Friday night, and it won't be long until we have our Division 5 match. Welcome to Heroes Lounge. We've got some cracking stuff lined up for you this evening. I'm Erin, and with me is Karis. Karis, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm otherwise known as Carissa as well. I do go by that name.
How are you doing this evening?
Very good, very good. Came back from work and excited to cast this interesting Division 5 match tonight.
Oh, so what do you know about these teams? Because I believe South Palm Khara have sort of lounge veterans, aren't they?
Yes, South Palm Khara are. They've been around for 3 seasons now, and my team actually last season went up against them in Division 4. We did play against them. So a couple of the players' names I do recognise. So this will be quite interesting to see how they've improved since last season.
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe Team Moon Moon are in fact a new team, but they've played a few of the teams have a few of the players have played uh, in lounge before, but they haven't played together as a team. Well, they have a sort of boyfriend girlfriend duo in the team as well on Team Moon Moon, so it could be an interesting dynamic there. I think I think that sounds like the sort of thing that could put stress on a relationship myself, but well, that's where we
That's
are.
just you. That's just you.
Um, because we're actually running reasonably ahead of schedule. I'll let the teams know that. Sorry, I'll let the viewers know where we're going for map number 1, which is Towers of Doom. So what we had is the South Palm Caravan Sky Temple, and then, not contrary to what it says on your screen, Team Moon Moon banned Cursed Hollow. And then South Palm Khara have chosen to take us to Towers of Doom. Now that's an interesting map because it's sort of part macro, part team fight. You can really win this map purely on macro by holding those what they call bell towers, forts, keeps. Well, they start as forts and they change into keeps later in the game, and controlling that bottom lane. So we might see something like an Abathur ban or an Abathur pick coming out. I don't know if that's something the teams particularly go in for from South Palm Khara. Do you know much about these statistics for South Palm Khara?
Yes, the last season they actually ended up quite high on the board in Division 4. They were only one win, like one game win away from qualifying for the cups. So they were quite close. They did have a couple of really high percentage win rate heroes like Genji, but obviously Genji being Genji was banned quite a lot as well. They had their highest win rates were also on Malfurion, Johanna, Stitches, and Malfurion was banned a lot against them as well. Maybe a respect ban coming out from enemy teams. Also, the heroes that they ban the most against people is Gul'dan and Garrosh. They're the two heroes that they just didn't seem to want to deal with. Now, Garrosh, I kind of understand. He's been quite a meta tank for a very long time, and he's a nightmare to deal with because he can isolate heroes. But the Gul'dan ban is interesting. I'm not sure why they prioritize banning Gul'dan.
Yeah, I don't know. It might just be that they don't like handling that level of wave clear. That whole. I mean, the thing is, Gul'dan's always been a strong hero, but I
Never
wonder if.
bannable.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Yeah.
Unless it's
Um,
Braxis, maybe.
Yeah, but I don't think they play disproportionately on Braxis, do they? So we don't know. Maybe that's just something like sometimes teams just don't like to play against a certain style or a certain a certain idea, as it were. Um, so Towers of Doom, yeah, I think this could be an interesting way to go. Um, I don't know. I mean, possibly we will see the Abathur ban coming out as talked about. Maybe something like a
Mm,
Dahaka, or
yeah.
possibly I do know that Team Moon Moon they whipped out a Stitches in their first match of the season, which they sadly lost. So maybe they won't want to replicate it. But they that was against Earthworm Defense Force, which is a very strong
Mm.
team. So maybe it's not really their fault, so to speak. So I wonder if we might see a Stitches come out. He has been popular historically on towers. I personally don't rate him here, but I know a lot of the player base does, because you generally always have forts and keeps up to, if you want to go for a gorge style play and put people in there. So
Mm.
we could see something like a Stitches coming out as well.
Yes. Stitches would be an interesting pick here. There are a few little awkward corners that if he does get a hook, there will be a sandwiched hero. As a person who gets caught by hooks a lot, I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of those hooks. Just while we were introducing the teams, I did do a bit of questionnaing and asking around, and I did ask Self-Pam Khara about their team. And I really enjoyed talking to the captain, who told us the story behind the name Self-Pam Khara, if we have about 30 seconds for a little
Yes.
story. So basically, they were once a team, an FAT team, and they decided to venture off to make a personal name of their own. And in one fight, the assassin was very low, and their healer was playing Karazim. And the healer screamed out, it's okay, I got you," when the healer was about to die. But as you expect from the name, he pammed himself, his own teammate died, and hence the name came out of it, which I think is a pretty simple but a lovely anecdote.
Yeah, that's it's nice that when teams have like this backstory. I actually Team Moon Moon. I know the story of their name as well, which is the players thought it sounded nice, so I've gone with it.
That's also a valid reason.
I think we're almost ready to head into the draft for game number 1 in this best of 3 series. For those of you who are maybe new to Lounge, most matches throughout the season are best of 3 series, and it simply comes down to who can win 2 games first. So with that, we're going to head into the draft.
Game hype.
Yes,
Whoop,
game hype.
whoop.
Now you're new to casting this season, Aaron. How have you been
I
finding
am.
that experience?
Oh, it's been very good. I've been babysat by Reeves in my first couple of casts, and he's let me free, and I've made so many mistakes completely on my own now. So I'm enjoying the experience. I'm going to be excited casting with you, though. This will be great crack, as the Irish would say.
Top quality crack indeed, as indeed the Irish would say.
No, we wouldn't. No, we wouldn't. Why are you doing this?
They wouldn't say it like I would, no. Right, because we're going into the draft, we're going to have some kind of betting. So you can bet on who you think will win game number 1. So if you think Self-Palm Khara will win game number 1, you type !bet A and then a number of points. And if you think Team Moon Moon will win game number 1, you say Team Moon Moon. You type !bet B and then a number of points for them. And if you want to know how many points you've got, type !points. It's all about the exclamation marks today, as we see Garrosh and Mal'Ganis both being banned, and I'm expecting a Diablo ban in response.
Yes, this is some top-notch tank joking going on. As a tank player myself, it makes me shed a tear a little bit every time I see this in draft. Here goes all the one tricks down the drain.
I really want to make a joke like the Batman Mal'Ganis has been banned by the choker, the tank choker. It's not working. It's just not. I can't.
No.
Oh, it's not. It's not happening. By the way, hi to Valis and
Yeah.
Cresta who are in the chat saying hi to us.
Hello. We do see the Diablo ban, like you had predicted, but Greymane prioritized on the side of Team Moon Moon, which is this? This is very interesting, isn't it? Picking Greymane so early.
Yeah, that's exotic. It means. To me, it means I would call in for a penny and for a pound, and they're gonna put a lot of bank on this Greymane, who is their team captain, to deliver some value.
Is this an Abathur pick?
Well, yeah, I was going to say because Abathur. By the way, Tyrael, old school sank with the Greymane.
Yeah, this is like 2016, isn't it? Remember that used to be a thing.
But in those days it was with Uther, but okay, nobody goes with Uther these days except scrap the meta. But and Abathur with the Alexstrasza there as well, that could be more than enough support for a Greymane. 3 supports effectively in the form of Abathur, Tyrael, and Alexstrasza. I would like to see an Abathur ban now, even from. But they've gone for the Anub'arak ban.
Is this Cho'Gall? I'm always worried when
I
I see a
don't
new
think
rank.
it is Cho'Gall.
Cho'Gall.
I think they're just expecting another tank to come out, and it's just
Hmm.
more tank choking. But then, Self Palm Khara need another tank themselves.
Yes.
What have they got left? They've got the Joanna. Arthur's could be a great pick against the Hypercarry Greymane.
That's true, but the Arthurs could be banned now by Team Moon Moon if they are going to try and create a hypercarry, but instead focus on banning the Genji, which is interesting because recently, I think it was yesterday or the day before, the Genji nerfs went through.
Yeah, we haven't seen really the impact of those yet in Lounge, so I think the fact that they're banning the Genji says to me they're not going to go for another tank, and they're going to have Tyrael as the sole frontline. And so the last picks will be maybe Avatar and a DPS. ETC, I love to see ETC coming out. He's just,
Of course you do.
and I think he's just a great response to super dive comps like a Tyrael and a Greymane. Look, yeah, so here, look, Sonya and Jaina. Wow, there's no Avatar though. So there's a lot of dependency on Tyrael to get those Sanks right. Otherwise, they could just die. Like, it's only Tyrael and Sonya on that front line. If Tyrael gets those Sanks right, these fights could be enormous for Team Moon Moon. But if he doesn't, if he gets interrupted, say, by an ETC boop, or an ETC slide, or a Blaze stun, or a Mouth Twilight, or a Gul'dan Horrify, just to name a few, then they could be in real trouble. So it's an ambitious idea from Team Moon Moon, but it might work.
And the last pick, Cassia, coming on the side of Self Palm Khara. I do love a good Cassia, though. I guess it's the counter to the Greymane. I see that's the response. And Tyrael main tank, by the way, to point out. Tyrael usually is drafted as a solo laner nowadays more than anything. But he is being drafted as the main tank in this comp, which I absolutely love and completely support.
I also love it, but I think, like I say, it would have been nice to have maybe an Abathur as well for more survivability, more support and stuff as well. Tyrael's going to feel a little bit vulnerable if there's a lot of CC. But it depends on it all comes down to execution. I mean, of course, all games will come down to execution, but this really could be a spicy game indeed. So make sure you get your bets in, ladies and gentlemen, because it's almost time for the game to start. The betting will end when it ends. So they're irrelevant of when the game starts. But who's your money on, Aaron, if you had to put money or points?
I think Self Palm Khara have the stronger comp, but Team Moon Moon have a spicier comp.
Yeah, I think I would back that assessment.
Statement.
Yeah, like Self Palm Khara is just like a good all round comp, whereas Team Moon Moon is like, as I said, in for a penny, in for a pound, and
I like those.
As they say in Ireland, in for a cent, in for a euro. So nobody's ever said that, have they?
No. I was going to ask about the portrait synergy. Who do you think has the better one?
Oh, I mean, right now, Uni on the side of Self Palm Khara is letting SPK down. But if they weren't, then SPK would be better. But the fact that Team Moon Moon have got full portrait synergy, which the viewers at home can't see, maybe I'll just bring that up quickly for the viewers to have a look at the portraits.
Am I seeing something else? Because I see all of them having the same portrait.
Oh.
Both teams have the exact same, as in. Yeah, but I was just going to comment on the actual portrait that's being used because Self Palm Khara is using the Carbo animation, while Team Moon Moon is using wolves because the Moon Moon, the meme, the dog.
Yeah, well then there's also their team portrait which viewers can see on screen now. But we are finally into the game after what might be called a moderately slow loading, and in the red corner we have a disconnect. But we also have.
I think that's Sonya.
But we also have Torask playing Alexstrasza, Maladriel playing the Jaina, Proximo. Have I got that? No, yeah, Proximo playing the Tyrael, PoppinFresh playing the Greymane, and somebody who's disconnected that I'm now going to look up. Of course, Yemek on the Sonya. Toaster Internet.
And Self Palm Khara have Nurwen Elensa playing Blaze, CC Shot on Gul'dan, Big A118 playing Cassia, Junie on ETC, and Tarnum playing Malfurion.
So, while we wait for the players to reconnect, we'll go back to looking at our beautiful faces. Mine in particular,
Yay!
yours is very stationary,
But it's
but
so pretty.
it is adorned with a
Actually,
Diablo and a cupcake.
I know. Reeves, I have to credit Reeves is the one who did it before my first cast. He edited a couple of pictures together, and there was a few random ones, and this is one of the cuter ones. I like how he replaced what was actually standing on the table, and replaced it with Diablo and cupcakes.
That's quite nice. I mean, Reeves has created a good few portraits, so so well played to Reeves on the portrait game. I think we're almost ready to go back into the game. Well, yes. Well, we're about to go back into the game, but yeah, I didn't see who won the betting, like which team was favored. I think. No, I can't actually see. So someone's going to have to tell me. But we are back into the game, which is game number 1 in this best of 3 series between Self Palm Khara and Team Moon Moon, with Self Palm Khara on the left, and they're almost ready to start.
5, 4.
So
Yes.
we talked about the drafts. I think for sure this draft of Team Moon Moon, it does depend a bit on this sanctification, which means they need to get to level 10 to start fighting. Whereas that ETC Malf idea starts from level 1. So the aggression early game, to me, looks like it's in favor of Self Palm Khara. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree. Tyrael does not come in line really, really well until level 13, in my opinion.
Look at this. Sorry to interrupt there. Just look at this trap at the bottom bush.
Yeah, I was
walking
about to
into it.
commentate on that. Tyrael does go through it, puts his E out, but spotted the 3-man in the bush.
I think they were hoping for somebody other than Tyrael, but also very sensibly from Proximo, he threw out his Eldruin's Might before going into the bush, so that he could escape if needed.
Can I just mention a talent? Look at the Alexstrasza talent.
Oh, it's E-Build Alex. That's spicy.
It's E-Build Alex. I absolutely love it. This is such a high risk, high reward quest, because if she does get it off early, she can provide so many dragons during team fights, especially late game. But it's a difficult quest to complete, in my opinion, if it's not a 4-man brawl consistently.
Yeah, and it's strange slightly because like we were just talking about how early game they don't want to be aggressive, but surely to get those stacks, Alexstrasza wants to be a bit aggressive. Here comes the aggression from Junie, like we were talking about. Slides in, looking for the damage onto Maladriel, who sensibly gets out of there. For now, the camp secured by Team Moon Moon, no problems there.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty good engage. I think if Junie managed to get there 1 second earlier, that could have been a very highly contested camp, especially since Alexstrasza was actually mid lane, and that would have been a 4 versus 3 engage.
On the subject of talents, did you notice that ETC went for Block Party instead of the more traditional prog rock? Now, I often say that all of ETC's level 1 talents do nothing, so it sort of doesn't make a difference. But Block Party, that suggests that they've identified that the key threat on Team Moon Moon's team is kind of burst and blowing somebody up. And Block Party is just an attempt to stop the burst. And they're saying, look, with Malf, we've already got enough sustain. We don't need more sustain from Prog Rock. As ETC slides in looking for this Tarask, but she's okay for now because that was under the towers.
Yeah, she did want to try and pop Dragon though, and the Dragon channel was interrupted. So this is actually possibly better for Team Moon Moon than the Dragon never popped off.
Yeah, because that cooldown is huge.
It is. If she does complete her Q quest though, it wouldn't be so huge. However, we do see the 4 altars now spawning.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a straight up 4v4 in the bottom. Alexstrasza a little bit late, but she is on the way. Gul'dan's trying to cap sneakily. Both altars capped to the top, so now it's going to be a 5v5. Winston, you can get down.
His Jaina is dropping so low and got bursted down before Alex could have had sufficient healing. But Malfurion is a bit of trouble as Greymane gets his claws on her and bursts her down.
Yeah, so it's a 1v1, 1 for 1 so far. And now 3 members of Team Moon Moon down here, but it seems like Khara didn't know that Sonya had snuck up to the top to take a camp instead of coming down. So Team Moon Moon really just poking now. They know that they're going to give up this altar ultimately, but they are trying to get Soak in the meantime and poke for as long as possible. And meanwhile, of course, Tarask and Alexstrasza getting those stacks.
Yes, Alex started that fight with 0 stacks and is already on 5, but ETC power slides on the Alex and the Blaze stun hits her as well. She's in a spot of trouble, but Janus damage is forcing the enemies out. PoppinFresh is going into the back line and popping off as he kills the ETC and goes for the Cassia. They're both so low, but Cassia is ultimately the hero that falls.
This is a 4v... I mean, effectively a 4v5 that's just been won by Team Moon Moon. Great play, and PoppinFresh on the Greymane doing absolute work. And the thing is, they've managed their health bars so efficiently. They're all just sitting around on lower health, and Alexstrasza is delivering those heals at the perfect time. So great burst there coming out from PoppinFresh and Maladriel.
Can anyone appreciate the PoppinFresh and popping off comment?
I think no one can appreciate that.
But I really want to self high five myself by now.
Okay.
Anyway,
that's called clapping, but
moving on.
What if you did 2 claps in short succession? What would that mean? No. No, but by the way, while all that fight went on, and while Team Moon Moon won that 4-on-5, Sonya took the top camp and got the camp rolling and took 2 towers in the top lane. And they got a huge XP advantage because Sonya was up there. Now they're trying to engage onto ETC. ETC's not a particularly tanky tank. Can he escape? No, he can't.
And he could not escape because Tyrael was able to chase after him, and of course, the Greymane really hurts tanks. I don't think anyone understands how much Greymane can just dish out damage on a single tank. It hurts, ladies and gentlemen. It really does hurt.
It does hurt, and that's why ETC went block party, but it's just not enough. With the mouth heals are just a little bit slow for this kind of damage that's coming out, this bursty kind of damage coming out from Greymane.
Can I just point out something for you, Karis? Crowd surfer.
Oh, I've got so much time for that. For absolutely the money. Ladies and gentlemen at home.
Pinball Wizard being picked up on 7 as well.
Controversially, Pinball Wizard. I mean, it goes well with power, but it looks as they're going for their own burst. Here they go, looking for the Jaina in fact, but Maladriel given enormous boost of speed by the Tyrael. Can she get away here? ETC tries to knock her out of the heal. She tries to come back into the heal, but there's no dice. The burst is there from Self-Palm Khara as well, so they get their first kill of the game. But meanwhile, Sonya's channeled the mid altar, and the bottom altar has been interrupted again and again.
Yes, it has, and this gives Alexstrasza an opportunity to get a couple of stacks going. Now she has 10 out of 20 stacks in her level 1 quest.
Yeah, I mean, is that good? The 10 out of 20 is that for this stage of the game, 6 minutes in? Is that?
I ideally would love to have this quest completed before level 10 because that means that during team fights, there's so much that you can do. As you can see, ETC power sliding on the Alexstrasza and Tyrael, but she doesn't get bursted down and walks away with half HP.
Yeah. Yeah, Pinball Wizard absolutely going for that burst idea, as you said, and I commend it in that sense, but on the other hand, if ETC slides in and they don't get a kill, ETC is just going to die. If you go in for that kind of slide and then W approach, it's quite aggressive. His Judgment is not stacked because the Judgment's immediately onto Mouth, but they're trying to blow him up immediately. Can he get out of here? His ETC with a huge slide to save Tarnum. Here comes the fire from the skies, though. Bombing to Mouth to his death, and that will be a kill on Mouth. But a lot of resources were committed for it. 4 heroics.
4 ultimates used on the side of Team Moon Moon to commit that kill on Malfurion, who looked like he got away, but it was Alexstrasza with her Cleansing Flame that secured the kill for Team Moon Moon. In this next phase, altar phase, they will not have all their ultimates up, I believe.
I can't believe how wrong my analysis was. I was like, they need to get to level 10 so they can have that sanctification and force the fights around Sank. And they've got to level 10 and they've said, we don't want any of that sanctification nonsense. We're going Judgment, we're going all in. And that Judgment target is going down. And if you run away, if ETC peels for you, then you'll get fire from the skies, cleansing you to death.
However, Twilight Dream is being picked up on the side of Malfurion, so perhaps this is a response to Judgment, an attempt to protect himself after the Judgment is cast.
Here comes Tyrael, scouts the bush with the Ultra in. ETC trying to posture here around the altar. Right now, neither team really benefits from posturing for too long, except for Team Moon Moon's heroics coming back online. That Cleansing Flame's up in 20, the ring's up even sooner. They really have to take South Palm Khara really have to take this fight pretty soon. By the way, stage dive. Here comes the Judgment onto Gul'dan with a leap on top of it. The Ring of Frost as well is blown up 2 targets before they can even get anywhere near that Blaze bunker. ADC trying to hold off members of Team Moon to save his team, but it's not enough. It's 4 members on the deck. It's not going well for South Palm Khara there.
That was a fantastic combo by Team Moon Moon, where Judgment, leap by Sonya, Greymane dived in, the ring from Jaina just blew up so many members. I believe it was both ETC and Cassia who got caught in that fight, and got destroyed off the face of the map.
Yeah, I mean, as the chat is saying, you don't need Sank if you just kill the enemy team. I mean, wow.
Very valid statement.
I love the coordination there of the Judgment and the Sonya leap, and it was just all she wrote immediately for Gul'dan before he can press Horrify. The Blaze bunker is meant to counter this kind of Ring of Frost idea, but it's just too fast. It's just all happening too fast. Mouth and Gul'dan were just blown up too fast. Of course, as well, the bunker. Don't forget the bunker activation time now, or rather the time for people to get into the bunker, is bigger. It's been increased, so it's harder to get into the bunker to dodge that kind of stuff. And that's showing already, as South Palm Khara are going to feel really under the pressure right now.
Yeah, South Palm Khara deciding to push the bottom lane while Team Moon Moon is going to push top lane. This is a good chance for South Palm Khara to get a little bit back in the game, because controlling the bot lane is very important, as we see Tyrael possibly a little out of position, but his sword is going to save him because he is a tanky version of Zeratul.
That's an assessment I've not heard before, but yeah.
That's my assessment.
The tanky version of Zeratul himself. He's like Zeratul, but tanky.
But a tank.
Exactly. Here comes ETC on Blaze, looking to contest this point. Here comes the stage dive! Can they steal this boss? The bunker's there. Yes, the boss has been secured for South Palm Khara. Now they're going to try and catch it onto Greymane. PoppinFresh falling a bit low. The Blaze is all over the backline there. Now we're starting to see a bit of life in South Palm Khara. If they can get the engages their way, it looks really good. This is sort of battle of the bursts from both teams, trying to blow up the enemy before they can respond. The Eldruin trying to zone that altar a great distance. I think Proximo's not going to come in because he would have been blown up. So he's now always looking. He's trying to interrupt the Blaze. He has, but it might give up his life. The Judgment with his dying breath onto Mouth. Here's the explosion going to kill Tarnum. Yeah, but PoppinFresh 150 HP down there, the Greymane.
Yes, Blaze tries to get the sun on Alex, but goes off in a different direction. It looks like South Palm Khara are trying to get away as ETC paralyzes the Alex Straza and attempt to save the Cassia, and Cassia does walk away with very low HP.
Yeah, ultimately they will trade these altars at the end of the day. I think South Palm Khara at the start of that, they wanted to get more, they wanted to invade because they had got that early kill from the boss. But it just wasn't enough because of the great zoning plays from Tyrael, knowing his life was up and taking out, putting the pressure onto Mouth with his dying breath. It's literal trait value. I mean, I know people say trait value ironically, but it was actual trait value from Tyrael.
Tyrael does actually have a solid trait value. He is trying to stop the rotation on the side of South Palm Khara to avoid clearing the zappers. And I think it worked out, possibly. I don't know, Gul'dan is there now. He'll be able to clear this pretty quickly, as Gul'dan does.
Yeah, with the help of Blaze, these sappers probably will go down, and they won't be able to throw those pumpkin bombs onto the keep. ETC, just by the way, stealthily soaking in the top lane all the time, and always ready to stage dive, but also not showing himself on the map. Great tank play there from ETC. Okay, he's actually showing himself on the map now, just to disprove my point. He does have the stage dive to arrive at any moment.
Oh, it looked like Proximo was about to isolate the Gul'dan there with the Holy Grand. If he was half a second sooner teleporting into that spot, I think Gul'dan could have been isolated and bursted down. Very, very well played by Gul'dan, sniffing it out and walking away. The ETC stage dives you were mentioning have been so solid so far. I think that we've seen 2 or 3 of them so far, and they have done so much work. Personally, as a person who does play ETC, I miss my stage dives 75% of the time.
Yeah, but I mean, even if it's a zoning value, like it gets zoning value anyway, even if you miss it. I mean, it's a huge circle that the enemy has to be seriously aware of. ETC capping the top left, Sonya capping the top right, and the fight potentially warming up in the bottom.
ETC is possibly waiting around to see if he could use the stage dive as he goes on the Alex, but she gets away. A huge Twilight Dream hits so many heroes, and ETC power slides on the Greymane and he gets bursted down. Malfurian's in the spot of trouble as Sonya goes in, but the fear is huge!
The fear is absolutely huge. Matana on Malf still dancing around, evading the Tyrael and the Sonya. Can he get away? The roots to root the Sonya. How long can you live, Malfurion? Surely not any longer. There's 4 members chasing you now. It will be the end of Malf finally. Is there enough space though for Gul'dan to start capping that altar? Zoning the Jaina, the Frostbolt range talent though on level 1 from Maladriel. She's secured the altar for a little bit longer. Using that level 1 talent instead of the more typical globes. ETC under a lot of pressure now, has to think about giving this up. With Blaze, no bunker available as well. Oh, look at this aggression from Tarask on the Alexstrasza because of that build.
That quest, and he completes that quest at the level 1 quest. So this means from now on, as the E's go off, Alexstrasza is going to have a shorter cooldown on her dragon. 5 seconds for every single hero she hits, re-hits with an E with her flame. So if Self-Pam Khara are going to be stacking on top of each other, she's going to get so much value out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe the aggression from this Alexstrasza, but it's paying off. Of course, it helps to have a second support in the form of the Tyrael, but he hasn't even gone for the Sank. So it's not like, you know, they have this huge survivability tool. It's just the shield that Tyrael's offering in terms of survivability. Right now, the kills are quite a lot in favor of Team Moon Moon, but the XP is actually ahead for Self-Pam Khara because that ETC is always soaking in the top lane, always able to come in with that global.
Yes, Sonya is going to respond with that by going into the mid and getting the soak, and I'm expecting her to rotate top and get the top lane soak as well afterwards.
But the thing that Self-Pam Khara, oh, here's the judgment onto Gul'dan, but he's managed to survive for now. Huge heals coming out. Is it enough? No, the Cleansing Flame to finish off, as we saw at the start of the game. The Ring of Frost does catch Blaze, but I think he'll be okay for now. Cassia under a lot of pressure. The Holy Ground shuts the door.
Great Holy Ground on the side of Tyrael. That looked like a fantastic engage by the Judgment Tyrael. So my prediction did not come true. Sonya did not rotate to the top lane to get the soak, but instead went back to bot to engage 5v4.
And here, what I was about to say when that fight kicked off is the problem that Self-Pam Khara have is their structures are all weak, except for the mid keep. So the top keep and the bottom keep were both really low. Okay, the bot keep's gone down completely now. ETC's trying to take that top camp to kind of reclaim some pressure top and equalize there. But apart from that, there's nowhere else structurally where SPK are keeping up with Team Moon Moon.
5 towers on the side of Team Moon Moon. They have quite a big advantage, especially since they are controlling the bottom towers, which is one of the important areas to control because of the 2 Zapper camps in the bot lane. ETC does pick up the top camp. Ooh, and we have another disconnect. Alexstrasza this time. So Sonya and Alexstrasza are taking turns.
It's the spicy disconnect. That's good for us because it gives us a little moment of reflection in which we can.
Yes, the battle of the blow-ups is what this is.
Exactly, the battle of the blow-ups, and it seems like Team Moon Moon is winning on that front so far because they just are winning those fights. They are getting those blow-ups more often. Gul'dan seems to be the unfortunate victim most of the times. I get the feeling that they stopped going for Malf so much because he did some nice Twilights that scared them off. But of course, Gul'dan could do a nice Horrify as well. But the thing is, the problem that SPK have is if they clump too much, then the Judgment will knock them around and the Leap will hit all of them and the Ring of Frost will hit them all of them. But if they spread too much, then they don't have those immediate responses in terms of the Twilight Dream. And they're also seeing the cost in a sense of stage dive. And I love stage dive, as you know. But they are seeing the cost that ETC will always take a couple of seconds to join the fight, even if his reactions are lightning fast. So they have to take the fights when they want, because the fights are over in those 2 seconds. Like Gul'dan is getting blown up in that time, and they can't get in the bunker fast enough unless they have unless they have a tank there to zone for them. Now Blaze is doing, I have to say, a very good job in that capacity, but maybe it's not enough. Maybe ETC will start coming more to these fights and making it more of a 5-on-5. Once they get level 20, we might see that more reliably, I guess.
I think I'd like to see that the minute Judgment, there is a small channel for Judgment as well, that the minute Tyrael casts Judgment, I would like to see Self-Pam Khara scream out that they're engaging, and ETC just responding as quickly as possible and casting Stage Alive immediately in response, possibly on top of the target who is being focused on, so that when he lands, he has his W to knock back whoever's engaging, which is primarily Greymane, by the way, and have a power slide as well, so that he can peel for Gul'dan and Malfurion, depending on who's the focus in that fight. That Greymane is doing so much work in those fights, because I'm not sure how the Team Moon shot calling is working, but whatever target Tyrael goes on, the Greymane just goes into wolf form straight away and focuses on that hero exactly. So the coordination between Tyrael and Greymane on the side of Team Moon is quite perfect.
Yeah, and I wonder if Self-Palm Khara could maybe look for more counter kills, and except it seems like when they see that Gul'dan or Malf are getting blown up, they're like, well, that person's gone, let's not lose anymore, which is a very reasonable response. But I wonder if they could actually do the reverse. Of course, it's a riskier strategy, and kind of get Greymane, or get a kill on Greymane or Jaina when they commit for those kills, or even Sonya when they go in for those kills. If Sonya's used her leap to come in and get that kill, she doesn't have anything to get out again, and ETC could provide that lockdown, maybe with a Twilight on top. So that could be another approach for them. But of course, that takes such balls, and that that if that backfires, you could lose the game on one fight. So the decision making required from these Division 5 teams is really, really tough in this game, and I don't envy them at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, you did mention about the whole Blaze and ETC tank issue, that Self-Pam Khara, that perhaps Blaze is just not enough to be appealing character for the backline. The comp that Self-Pam Khara took, well, from what I see anyway, is revolving around the ETC. My idea was that they have Malfurion and ETC Power Slide. Their idea is to focus down one hero. Malfurion roots on top of the power slide, and with casting Gul'dan, they burst down that single target. And even if that target is Tyrael or Sonya, they should be able to blow up that hero. Both Sonya and Tyrael are not considered, beefy frontlines. Tyrael especially is considered quite a weak tanks in terms of HP. As I'm talking, Proximo does tell us that he is back.
Okay, so we're almost ready to go back into the game. But yeah, no, I agree, and it's more traditional to have that ETC slide to set up, and either they could slide into roots, and either they could do that and get a kill, or they force the dragon to they always force the Dragon Queen to be popped. Blaze going, checking the bush. It's a party bush. The door's been shut. Does he have the bunker available? He does. But how long can he hide in there? No, he's been blown up completely. And now the judgment's onto Malf, who tried to come and help him. Here's the leap on top. This is nasty. The Horrify, just a little too late. But I mean, I don't think Gul'dan could have been any faster to respond there. And with that, Team Moon going straight for that boss.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the power of face checking. It is a mistake that many tanks make continuously. So there's nothing to be ashamed. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I mean, well, Blaze reacted as soon as possible once he saw the trouble he was in, but it was too little, too late. And by the way, we saw the kind of difficult decision they had there. Do you commit the Malf to try and save the Blaze, or do you say, well, Blaze is finished, that's it? And they chose to try and save the Blaze with the Malf, and of course that cost them another hero. And now there's a win condition for Team Moon. They just have to take a single altar here, and they win the game. This is a really tough spot for Self-Palm Khara.
Yeah, Self-Pam Khara are not allowed to let either altar up. But it looks like there is going to be a fight here, possibly in the mid lane. Blaze is starting to channel, but Tyrael is already in the bottom lane channeling the altar.
Yeah, I'm surprised that SPK have let Oh, they're engaging onto Gul'dan though. They're going to absolutely blow up this Gul'dan. No, he's still alive. Miraculously saved by the Horrify, which was enormous. Has to dodge the Ring of Frost. And Malfurion could not dodge that Ring of Frost. And that's the end of Malfurion. It's going to be the end of Gul'dan as well. Is it the end of the game? Can they catch enough? They're looking for more. Is Big A118 on the deck? Cassius down. Can they catch ETC as well? They need to just kill all of the members of SPK and they will win this series. Not this game, not the series, the game number 1. Looks like it's over.
Yes, the crowd surfer getting small value there. ZTC paraslides to safety, but it is GG. First game going to Team Moon.
Yeah, and I have to say, well deserved by them. Really, really solid execution there. They had a single like we said in the draft. That's a spicy comp. If they can execute, it could be devastating, and if they can't, it's gonna fall apart. And they clearly could. And the credit to them for this judgment idea, which I hadn't considered, because I was thinking the Sanct's going to be difficult.
Sanct as well. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking the Sanct might be. We were saying the Sanct might be difficult because you're going to get power slid, you're going to get face melted, you're going to get twilighted, you're going to get horrified, you're going to get blaze stunned. And it looks like Proximo on Material saw that threat. Was like, yeah, I know, so I'm getting judgment. So
it was a great plan by them, and like I said it earlier as well, that the Grey Mane follow up was very well played as well. I did ask the teams South Khara if they wanted map pick or first pick, and they decided to take map pick, and they take us to Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Now that's interesting, isn't it? Like it's a more team fight oriented map, but it also requires that laning pressure. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Gul'dan get banned here. Like if they can use Gul'dan on this map, it could be very effective. Let's show the map situation on the screen for viewers at home. Turkey Slot, who just asked in the chat, this is an EU game between Khara and Team Moon. And it's EU Division 5. But here look, we saw the map bans with Sky Temple and Cursed Hollow. And then Khara has picked both towers and Tomb. They obviously like maps that begin with T. So
I'm sure that's the logic behind.
So if this goes to game number 3, I don't know what map they would pick. No, but yeah, I think so. For viewers who don't know, because Khara lost game number 1, they had the choice of first pick or map pick. As Aaron pointed out, they chose map pick and they chose Tomb, and we're ready to go there momentarily. So the difficulty that puts them in is that gives Team Moon first pick again. Now, last time Team Moon first picked Grey Mane, and we were like, what kind of a first pick is that? And then they executed that brilliantly. PoppinFresh, as you said, popping off those kills.
Yeah, I wonder if perhaps something like Johanna, or I think Johanna might have been a better response against the Grey Mane pick, especially a first pick. Usually when you prioritize something like a Grey Mane first, you revolve your comp around it, if that makes sense. And maybe I was thinking Johanna would have a better way of dealing it. She has her W stun, which will keep the Grey Mane sort of in place at certain times. The blind is very good as well, possibly to stop him from getting his basic attack resets. And also her ultimate. Another hero to deal with the Grey Mane is Arthas, as we know. He has his ability with E where he reduces the attack speed of heroes in his range, and Arthas is any melee hero is just a pain to deal with.
Yeah, the thing is, I can't help but feel from what we saw that that the ETC stage dive was part of the plan all along, and actually they like to play the macro style on towers. And just I've got a feeling that the plan from Khara was to use that ETC stage dive and never take a fight. Obviously, Team Moon sniffed that out and just said, well, we're taking a fight whether you like it or not. So great execution from them. We are into the draft for game number 2.
Yes, game number 2, Self Palm Khara versus Team Moon Moon. As we see, Team Moon Moon banning the first hero, and it is Maiev who is being banned. This hero is very highly prioritized in bans and picks in Division 1 and 2, but I don't see her being picked up very often in lower divisions. She's not that popular.
No, but I wonder if they know something that we don't about Self Palm Khara.
I'm just kind of glancing at my little sheet that I did with research. I don't remember Maiev. Maybe they know something we don't.
But I have seen that Kalthazad come out for Team Moon Moon. They pulled it out in their first match against Earthworm Defense Force. By the way, they took it with the Stitches. Now this is a Stitches map, even in my view.
You're going to be so excited if you see that Stitches,
Oh,
aren't you?
I would love to see a Stitches come out
ETC
here.
and
The large
Stitches in
lad,
one
as he's now
day.
known. How good is the name, the large lad?
He's an absolute lad.
He's an absolute large lad, as coined by Kevin Johnson. No, but the large lad himself might come out, because I assume Diablo is going to get banned roughly nowish. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't been banned already.
Yeah, but Garrosh could also be a ban here. Garrosh and Diablo are open, so the two tanks who are quite contested on this map could be picked up on the side of Team Moon Moon.
Oh, and they've both been allowed out. I guess the idea is if the Diablo gets picked here by Moon Moon, then SPK have the Garrosh to resort to.
They do, but the Kerrigan ban is interesting because the nerfs that recently went through, we do see the Diablo being picked up by Team Moon Moon. The last patch, Kerrigan got nerfed quite significantly in that patch, I believe. Or I'm lying. Am I lying?
I don't remember. Chat, tell us if Aaron is lying as usual. Garrosh responds to Diablo as we expected.
Just as we predicted, yes.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. If Diablo goes in for one of his combos, you can throw him back and punish him. So it's you have to play a bit carefully as Diablo around that.
Page Biscuit is asking is every map not a Stitches map, and I'll give you the opportunity to respond to that.
Every map is a Stitches map, but some maps are more Stitches maps than others.
Great response. 9 out of 10. We see a Zeratul pick on the side of Team Moon Moon. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
So is that a VP Apoc kind of combo, do you think?
VP Apoc Twilight Dream.
That's gonna be a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
It's a lot of CC, more importantly. That's gonna be a long time when members of Self Palm Khara cannot do anything. I also think there's a potential that they took the Zeratul to prevent any VP Jaina Ring of Frost shenanigans, although, you know, you don't just pick up Zeratul willy-nilly. They've definitely had that in mind for sure. So, yeah.
I'm guessing that the Zeratul is going to go in the offlane. The Tomb is not a bad map for Zeratul, but he doesn't provide a whole lot, or pretty much anything in the 4-man. Because until level 70 he has very limited mobility and doesn't provide a whole lot into team fights until he has VP for setup.
So we saw an attempted bet of 250 by Kosuke's, aka Sunny, in the chat, but the betting hadn't actually started, but now it has. So go and do that.
Go on.
Yeah. So the Gul'dan ban to stop the wave
Yes,
clear.
yes. Just as I deserve.
Oh my days!
Wombo
Dentro's
versus
just
Wombo
resubbed.
combo. I like it.
It's Wombo combo versus Wombo combo, says Dentro. Thanks for the resub.
Blaze being picked up on the side of Self Palm Khara again. Now I don't know if they managed to get a whole lot of bunker value. They did in 2 team fights. I remember there was huge bunker value, but because of the channel time to get into it, I wonder did Self Palm Khara think that they can get past it this time? But the bunker is a great response to Zeratul and APOC combo as well. Li Ming and Thrall being picked up on the side of Team Moon Moon. Li Ming is limited in wave clear a little bit, but I guess with the pickup on Thrall, it kind of sets it back up again.
But is Thrall going to be in the solo, or is Zeratul going to be in the solo?
Ideally, in my opinion, Thrall should be in the 4-man, regardless if he goes Crash Lightning or not. Zeratul, like I said, he does not provide a whole lot until he provides something after level 7. In the Zebo pick on side of Self Palm Khara. So late game versus late game here.
Late game versus late game. It's the big showdown, the Clash of the Titans. Late game versus late game. Place bets in the chat. If you want to bet on late game, you type !bet A and then the number of points. But if you want to bet on on late game, then you type bet !bet B and a number of points. So with that in mind, the drafts are over, and I'm sure the betting is kicking off. It looks like most bets have been on Team Moon so far. Like that Zeratul looks so scary right now. The thing is, Blaze and Garrosh aren't going to worry about it, but Jaina and Nazebo, yeah, they're both heroes who can get ice block, but apart from that, they might struggle. And Stukov, he's going to be so exposed. If Diablo catches him, if Zeratul catches him, so this is going to be a lot of responsibility is going to fall onto the tanks, Noah, Nelensa, and Uni, to guard Stukov in those fights.
Junie and Neuron have a lot of pressure on them. But we are starting the draft, and we finished the draft, and we are starting the game as Self-Pam Khara going up against Team Moon, and I'll introduce Self-Pam Khara on the blue side, where Neuron Elensa is playing Blaze, Big A 118 is playing Jaina, CC Shot on Nazebo, Tarnum on Stukov, and Junie on Garrosh.
And over in the red corner, we have Proximo on Zeratul, Heart of Tarask on Diablo, Maladriel there on the Liming, of course Yimek on Thrall, and PoppinFresh on the Malfurion, and they are... What have I said wrong?
Have they switched roles? PoppinFresh was the grey main.
Yeah, PoppinFresh was the grey main, so they have switched roles.
Because I was like, he's popping off now. They have just switched roles around.
They've switched roles. And they are, yes, they are Team Moon. And we are into game number 2 in the best of 3 series in this Division 5 match. Well, let's have a look at these level 1 talents.
Oh yes, let's pop these.
I'm sure you and I will both have a lot to say about Diablo.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about Diablo.
Let's talk about...
He's not beer.
I see, for me, against the Nazebo and on 2 months
and the Jaina, I would have seen Soul Shield.
All their damage is magic. Or, failing that, I would go Devil's Due. Like, let's say they didn't have so much magic damage, I'd be thinking Devil's Due on this map. Because the fights are always in lane, and that's the critical factor for me on Devil's Due is, are you always fighting near minions?
Do you see an engage here on Garrosh and a flip over, but the root just does not connect. Diablo is being thrown over, and he's quite squishy if the team follows up as Jaina hits her spells. But, you know, despite the fact that Diablo doesn't have his souls, he's still, to a certain percentage, a tank.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, he's about as squishy as an ETC at the moment when he's got 0 souls, which is pretty squishy, but it's, you know, it's not crazy.
I'd also like to point out the fact that I mispredicted, and Zeratul not in the solo lane. He is actually in the 4-man, as we see Thrall battling out in solo lane against Blaze.
So I think that means the solo lane will go better than if they put Zeratul there. But it means the 4-man will maybe be a bit weaker, or they'll have less kill pressure early game. Obviously, once that Zeratul gets up and running, but at that point, the lane phase will be...
Some friendly B-stepping as Junie dukes Zeratul's poison damage. Not poison damage, what's it called? That W ability that throws the little ball. Ladies and gentlemen, you can correct me in chat what it's called.
I've even... by the way, there's been a sneaky camp steal from Self-Pam Khara with Jaina and Stukov going down there. Big A 118. Do you think I should change my name to Big A 118? No. But with that, they're going to start pressuring the bottom lane. It seems like that's the strategy here, just using Nazebo and Garrosh to safely soak the mid on top, and ramming that bot lane with those giants. Zeratul's rotated down, looking for pressure. The Thrall Dog means Stukov has to be a little bit careful, but of course they've got the Blaze there to peel for them. They're not in that much danger, and so they can get these siege giants rolling in. On the other hand, there's no wave anymore. Thrall and Zeratul have made short work of it. So good rotations there from both teams, actually.
A Frostwolf pack being picked up by Thrall in...
Oh, who let the dogs out build, as I call it.
Yeah, I mean, that quest is quite difficult to complete from what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. That means he has to consecutively hit 6 heroes without missing, not once.
Yeah, and also without dying. But I think given there's only 6 stacks, it generally is not that hard to complete. and people, the reason people don't go for it as often is because the mana from the other one at the other ones at level 4 that I've forgotten the name of, is a bit juicy. The dog build is nice if you can take the percent damage talent Alpha Wolf at level 16 to synergize with it.
I have to interrupt you. Diablo's level 4. You're gonna love it.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's auto attack Diablo.
This was a thing before it was a thing, because Karis used to talk about it being a thing before it was popular. We do see Stukov in a bit of trouble as Diablo flips him over and cues him over. Malfurion is going to try and hit his roost, but does he get away? Oh, it was a 3v1 on the Stukov, and he manages to get away.
So I've got a lot of time for auto attack Diablo.
Yes, that's going to this topic.
I still think this might not have been the situation to do it. By the way, I still think the Soul Shield would have been better at level 1, but maybe if you're going, I don't know. We'll see how it works out for Tarask.
Diablo doesn't have any bad level 1s, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put it this way: all of his talents are very strong, but also very situational, and there can be counter arguments to many of them. And as two Diablo mains casting, this is a very interesting point of discussion for us.
Yeah, and we can't just talk about Diablo talents all game. The gems are on 48. If Team Moo Moon get a single hand in, apart from Malfoy Li Ming, anyone else could hand in to get them the 50 gemmies needed. Of course, Self-Bound Khara also needs not that many to hand in. Diablo, no, the Frostbolt from Jaina. Big A118 with the big interrupt to 118 there. Diablo charges out of that Garrosh combo. It'll be fine now.
Diablo is playing pretty well, knowing to save his Q charge for getting himself out of trouble from the Garrosh. I'd also like to point out, while the channel is going through, Li Ming's build is not Calamity, but Orb build.
Yeah, we've been seeing that more and more recently these days, and it's that's it used to be considered controversial. I think these days it's considered less controversial, even though it's not been changed. But you know, people's views on meta just changes arbitrarily, and I've seen it quite a lot in Hero League recently, so I'm not that surprised. But yeah, it's certainly still maybe the less safe option than fully built, but I guess the idea is you get more consistent poke value. And of course, she has taken the Force Armor at level 1. Diablo looking for the charge onto Nazebo, doesn't quite connect. She has taken the Force Armor at level 1. Unlike our friend Tarask with Diablo, she knows that the spell damage is going to be coming out thick and fast. And so she needs that spell armor. Diablo gets thrown in, but he couldn't quite get thrown over the wall. Manages to charge to sidestep the root. Maybe Stukov can catch with the slows here, 400 HP. But the flips to get the Feast on Fear healing. He's still alive miraculously. The healing coming out from PoppinFresh does keep him alive for a long time, but not long enough. And eventually, that is Diablo, is 100 souls on the deck. But he's back alive, and it means he can he can help stop this turn-in by SPK.
Yes, that was 100 souls gone for the Diablo, and it puts them in a little bit of a back spot, especially since Self-Bound Khara are a little bit ahead in XP now. I'd also like to point out one more talent that is a little unusual, is Garrosh level 1, by the way. This looks like the old Garrosh build. Do you recognize it?
Oh, it's not the traditional stacks on the Q. It's the range. That's just, to me, it's more. He's thinking more about throwing people into the forts than looking to stop fight, or just displacing them further. And it's nice for sure, but the disadvantage of it is you don't get that reduced cooldown on your Q. China runs to Garrosh, flips him in. He has the Indomitable, but it's too little too late. He's been pushed into the towers by the Lord of Terror. And
yes,
he's found...
great body blocks by the side of Zeratul and Jaina, stopping him from trying to get around them. Well done.
They shut the door, and that's the thing we saw from Team Moo Moon. Last game, Blaze manages to sneak the hand in there, though. The door's been shut by Team Moo Moon in multiple games now. They know about controlling movement, so great play from them.
Yes, level 10s have been picked up by both teams. Bunker, Ring of Frost, Gargantuan, Failing Swipe, and Taunt. And as we said, the VP APOC combo is coming out. Twilight Dream as well on the side. of Team Moon Moon with Wave of Force on Ming and Thundering back on Thrall.
Look at this VP to set up the Epoch. Here it comes. The Epoch is huge, but they didn't time the orb interrupt properly. But they're still doing a serious amount of work onto Stukov, who's taking all of his life down. The Lord of Terror finishes him off with the Malevolence talent at level 7. Now, can they catch more? No, they look to retreat and clear these spiders. Is Diablo in trouble here?
No, Diablo gets away, but Zeratul had walked away with something like 24 HP earlier, so he was in a good bit of spot of trouble. I believe Team Moon Moon are just going to be focusing on clearing the waves as they did secure a kill, but Thrall could be in a spot of trouble as the wolf hits 2 members and he gets away.
Yeah, he's staying in the fort for now. I mean, by the way, how quite fast did Thrall clear those spiders? Lovely play from Thrall there. It's follow through from Thrall, by the way, as well. So we're seeing a lot of slightly unorthodox but not crazy talents this game. The orb build, by the way, we now see why Li Ming went orb build, although they didn't execute it perfectly that fight.
Yes.
Is this idea of you throw the orb into the VP and you cancel the VP as the orb's over the heads of your enemy.
I think if they're not going to be able to synergize it perfectly, allow the APOC to hit. I think that's the plan that should be. If the APOC hits, you can throw the orb out, then it'll definitely hit.
That's the difficulty, isn't it? Because they've got to time both the APOC and the orb. So Zeratul is like, when do I cancel my VP, guys? Am I cancelling it to hit the APOC maximum or to hit the orb maximum? And obviously you choose the APOC in that situation.
Of
rightly.
course, APOC needs to be prioritized, definitely.
Being a 90-second cooldown instead of a 10-second cooldown. But it's still, it's still, it means that synergy idea of having the orb into the VP is not getting its maximum value. But I assume that's why Maladriel has gone for that orb build.
Page Biscuit is asking how people are doing for their stacks.
Well, we're going to talk about that
later.
later.
Being popped.
Yep. VP Epoch into the Twilight as well. Maybe they can... No, Marth's been blown up. Garrosh is still alive. No, he's not. The Li Ming resets have finished him off. Blaze has been pulled back by the Lord of Terror himself. Is actually 2 for 1 though. And when you've done a big wombo combo of 3 heroics, to lose 2 and only get 1 kill in response doesn't feel so good.
And that was a 4v5 as well. Self-Palm Khara Nazebo was in the mid lane during the fight. So I think that went into the favour of Self-Palm Khara as they have an easier time now defending.
Yeah, that went definitely in favour of Self-Palm Khara, and yes, the spiders have been handed in, and they will probably get a fort with this Team Moon Moon. It could have gone a lot worse for Self-Palm Khara given how good these VPs have been. They're looking actually for this Nazebo. He's been slammed into that corner that didn't really look like it should have been a wall, but that's how Diablo goes.
Yeah.
Flips the Garrosh just to get himself some Feast on Fear healing. And look at the pressure onto this Jaina. Can Diablo do more work onto her? By the way... No! Can they throw the Diablo in? The taunt as well? The stun? Look, the tower, the silence! Torosk, how are you alive here? The spiders are chasing, trying to finish the job. Here comes... Noah Nalensa, which I nearly called New Orleans for some reason.
Yes, I've almost made that mistake in my head a couple of times.
But why don't we just say Blaze's name is now New Orleans? But
You have been renamed.
By the way, we just have to briefly comment on the Diablo build. Okay, we've got lots of things to comment on. First of all, the Diablo build switched away from the auto attack talents into the charge. For me, that's slightly unusual because those auto attack talents at level 4 and 7 get the most value when you get that auto attack speed up and running at level 13. When suddenly Diablo becomes, he starts attacking like a Tassadar, but
Yes, and on top of the Malevolence, it does a lot of spell damage, and it really hurts whoever he is auto-attacking. And especially if he gets the Q wall stun with his level 1, which gives him a good bit of heal, he won't be in too much trouble when he does that.
But he has gone for that charge damage because it's the wall. It's a map of many walls, and it's a map when people are going to get slammed into walls a lot. And with the Malevolence on top of that, you have that nice follow-up for the blow-up. Here they go, low. Zeratul in the back line looking for the VP, but didn't manage to find it. Here he found 3 of them in there. The Snooker's going to try and silence, but the Apocalypse is going to force him to not do that. The Apoc on top is huge with the Twilight as well. They can't get in the bunker in time. In fact, the bunker's been blown up, and Jaina's the first one to go down. Can they catch the Garrosh as well? He's got a lot of armor, but he's got nowhere to run and nowhere to hide.
Wow, I was holding my breath during that whole fight. That was a perfectly executed APOC and VP combo. Oh, that was perfect.
That's literally what they've drafted for, and it's been nicely executed there by Team Moon Moon, and they go immediately to boss to start getting value. And we saw Stukov was like, I'm not in the VP, guys. What do I do? Do I throw out a silence? But he couldn't because there was an apocalypse on the floor, so you can't stand still and channel there. And yeah, it was just that's the thing, is it was tough whether you were in the VP or not for Self-Palm Khara.
I also have to commend the bunker was very good there as well, but unfortunately the team Self-Palm Khara didn't manage to get into it. I thought it was a great response and it was casted quite well, but not all the members managed to pop into it and save themselves. A turn in on the side of Self-Palm Khara, side of Team Moon Moon is now going to give them a significant lead. They could get a keep here.
Yeah, but it looks like they're not going directly for the keep. They're going to clear up mid first, secure that extra 4 XP, get even more of a level advantage, and allow those spiders to ram the mid keep while they rotate to a different lane. And it looks like they're being a bit hesitant about which lane that will be. Oh, they're staying in the mid with the spiders. I guess they figured... Oh, again. And they've only... It feels like they've only just wiped a Self-Palm Khara with it. But, you know, of course VP has a huge cooldown, but it's already back up. And Proximo
has an insane level 16 talent, which means now his Q is going to be doing so much damage and getting so many resets, especially if Self-Palm Khara are stacked on top of each other.
By the way, Zeratul, I was well going for Spell Shield at level 13.
Literally everyone but Diablo going for Spell Shield.
But having said that, Diablo's not been missing. He doesn't seem like he's been under massive threat, except when he's been thrown in. And now they're looking for the Nazebo. Lovely ice block dodge, but is it enough? It's not enough.
It was enough because he does get away that route. He walked around the Diablo, danced around it, and got away because he did not get rooted by Malfurions.
Huge ice block dodge from CC shot.
Yes.
Great
Well
play
done.
there.
And he dodged Zeratul's W as well. That ice block did so much for him. Well timed, well played. We do see overpowering Nightmare taken by Diablo on level 16.
Well, that makes a lot of sense given the Feast on Fear at level 1 and given the Malevolence at level 7, both of which will give huge value every time he's throwing an overpower, and he's going to be throwing 3 of them if he wants in a short space of time.
We do see the camp being taken by Team Moon Moon. I'm guessing they're going to be trying to push this out a little bit. Team Moon Moon do not have a turn in, however, Self-Palm Khara do. So I expect they're not going to be turning in yet. They are going to be pushing out the lanes, as all their lanes are pushed in quite snugly at the moment. I'm wondering what they could do. They have their ultimates up. Both teams actually have their ultimates up, and I think this is just going to be a brawl of 16 versus 17, and at least they have a same talent tier.
We have to talk about the stacks a bit, because I know someone requested that about 10 minutes ago, but there's been so much action.
We got distracted.
Nazebo is fully stacked already, and he's like, there's no danger for Nazebo. He's fully stacked. The difficulty for Self-Palm Khara is that Jaina is nowhere near stacked. She's only on 9k because they've not really been having the kind of fight where Jaina can just get some blizzards off and start healing off her Ring of Frost or something, because they're just getting blown up in those engages. So
yeah, if you look at the stats of actually the damage dealt between the two teams, the highest damage is 22k by Zera with Li Ming. Those are not high stats at 18 level.
No,
this is very low.
It's a low damage game because people are just being blown up immediately.
It's just a blow up comp, yeah.
And
blow
then,
up comp on both sides.
And then the fight's over. Now, the thing is, if Self-Palm Khara can survive that blow up, or if they don't get VP'd together, they've got so much potential. But look at this clumping here. Proximo credit to Proximo on the Zeratul, who's been finding value again and again with these VPs. Every single VP has caught multiple members. And of course, Team Moon Moon don't have to fight unless they get that combo, but they're hungry for it. They could just wait and try and wait for the 20. They're ahead a level and a half, but they're not doing that. They're actually looking for a fight, not allowing Self-Palm Khara to get the value. Garrosh immediately brought in. Look at the damage already onto Garrosh. The VP to completely isolate him. The door's been shut. Here comes the VP, the Apocalypse on top as well. Oh my days, Jaina, where have you gone? Now they're trying to catch Blaze as well, but the door's been shut. He's in a world of hurt. The Lord of Terror on one side and Malf and Jane on the other. New Orleans is going down in a rage of damage.
We see a lot of value coming out of Overpowering Nightmare as Diablo was able to control so many heroes in that fight. And on the side, Team Moon Moon also pick up the camp. This is going into Team Moon Moon's favor so well. I was thinking South Palm Khara were trying to look for a fight, but it looked like Garrosh went through the bush and Diablo was waiting for him. Got stunned. And what happened was the team, South Palm Khara, tried to respond to that, but they were clumped together, and the Zeratul just punished that clumping with a amazing VP.
Yeah, I think at this point, South Palm Khara are just terrified of going anywhere that's even remotely a choke point. And I love the idea of Garrosh gets isolated, so you VP the rest so they can't help him. And of course, they try to help him because that's what you do if your teammate gets hooked in by a Diablo.
Yeah.
Then
Thinking
you're
about
like,
Garrosh, he was a little bit on the wrong side. He throws Zeratul into the fort, but he is going to be safe. However, Janus ring hits, but does not connect onto the Diablo. He probably gets away, however, because of no follow-up CC. But oh, that looked like a scary moment for Zeratul and Diablo there.
yeah, I mean, I think they're falling low. This is the thing, is if they, this is what South Palm Khara sort of needed to do a little bit earlier, is force a fight when the VP's down. And you know, say, look, you don't have your wombo combo, we're going to come in and we're going to fight. And the problem is now they can't do that because Team Moon Moon are level 20 and Team Moon Moon are only 5 gems away from getting a hand in, and it's going to be a late game hand in that's going to be knocking on the core, it's going to be knocking on the bottom keep a lot. But are Team Moon Moon going to have a look at this boss, and if so, can South Palm Khara contest it?
Team Moon Moon is just so scary to deal with now with their level 20s, especially the insane power spike that Zeratul has with his level 20. The self-heal, see a turnover on Garrosh. Garrosh is isolated again. And the APOC VP combo is going to hit 2 heroes. Zeratul is popping off in the back line as he secures 2 kills for Team Moon Moon.
Yeah, and there's going to be Blaze as well. Is 4 dead? It looks like this is game. I mean, maybe they can just end mid here. But it looks, yeah, they are going to come mid and go try and end there. They have the potential to hand in first, which Diablo is going to do while the rest of the 4 of them push onto this core. Nazebo's got a lot of stacks, but he's not level 20 yet, so he can't do anything to defend here, except throw Gary out to his death. Go Gary, go!
Go Gary, go!
Oh, GG stands for Gary Gary.
Ah, yes. It does, it does. Malfurion hits the root, the ice block stops him from getting too much damage as Diablo gets the wall stun on the Nazebo, and he doesn't get to safety. And this GG has been called by both teams. Junie has left the game. I don't think it's a disconnect, perhaps. I think
maybe the game might have been over at that point.
It could have been over. GG,
wow.
well played by both teams.
I mean, you know, full credit to Team Moon Moon there. They have looked absolutely devastating in both games of this series, and with 2 different ideas actually. You know, the first idea was this kind of, you pick one target and you just blow them up with the Greymane and the Judgment. But idea number 2 was the VP into Apocalypse, kind of the more team fight based approach. You find your teammates, you find your opponent clumped up, and then you execute them. Just devastating stuff from Team Moon Moon. 12 kills to 3, the final score on map number 2. I should update the score at the top of the screen for viewers. By the way, nobody bet on by the way, in game number 1, South Palm Khara got more bets than Team Moon Moon. In game number 2, nobody bet for South Palm Khara because they saw the devastation that that Team Moon Moon were whipping out.
The interview is being occupied at the moment, Khara. Should we go into Game Lounge instead? Is that all right?
Yeah, that should be fine. Let's head over to Match Lounge. Oh, Game Lounge, sorry. So, yeah, I was just saying that, I mean, just really strong stuff from
South Palm Khara.
From South Palm Khara, and from Team Moon Moon as well. And here's Team Moon Moon's captain, Proximo. Welcome.
Hello, hello, hello.
The Zeratul player from the last game. Well done, well played. That was an interesting combo in both games. You had a plan, it seemed, and you performed it almost perfectly. Congratulations to your team. How do you feel?
Thank you once again. We're feeling pretty good. We're kind of excited after like our first round 1 win, so we tried to keep the roll going with the. So we're feeling pretty good.
Okay, so talk us through this VP Epoch combo because that looked so devastating with a Twilight Dream as well. Is that something you've practiced a lot in scrims and stuff, or is it just something new?
We practiced an like a composition that is similar to that, but they took our Jaina, so we just went for the Ming and tried to make. But yeah, we practiced the Diablo Zeratul. It's an old combo, but it still works out.
Yes,
And
but it heavily relies on the Zeratul being able to get a good VP, otherwise the combo doesn't pull off. And you managed to do extremely well.
thank you very
managed to
much.
get at least 2 backlines almost in every single VP, if not more, and you got huge value. Did you feel like that every time you had a VP, did you like get excited and scream and go Diablo Epoch?
Yeah.
Or what was going through your head at the time?
Yeah, the idea was to VP the backline and try to like zone off the tanks because the garage throw and the blaze bunker like it helped them a lot, especially when I think first or second VP went down. It got like counter kills for them. So yeah, we tried to do that, and I was really excited for that 4-man VP. VP, big VP, let's go!
Yeah, and it seemed like just devastating value with that over and over again. But in game number 1, it was a slightly different approach with the judgment
The
kills.
real comp.
Yeah, because we were talking in the draft and in the casting desk about how we were expecting the Sank with the grey main as traditional and stuff like that, and then the judgment comes out and we're like, whoa.
Yeah,
And
I heard you guys talking on stream about like, oh, the Sank could get interrupted and stuff, and like, oh, they're not gonna see this coming. But we did the same composition in our round 1 game against Earthbound Defense. So you guys did not do your homework.
There you go. We didn't indeed, but well, I think that's because we saw that you lost that match. So, so I mean, what was the difference here? Like, so because if you tried it against Earthworm Defense Force and it was
we
less
won
successful.
against the Earthbound Defense. Won both of the games.
Oh, okay. Maybe I misread that then.
Yeah, maybe. It's fine. But yeah, so we're pretty excited after this one.
Yeah. No, that looks really. It looks like you're a really strong team. I mean, as you say, if you've beaten Earthworm Defense Force and Self Palm Khara, both of which are veteran teams, and 2-0 both times, then that's looking very, very strong indeed. Like, what are your aspirations for Division 5? Like, where you want to go this season?
Well, we don't really have like a particular goal. We're just trying to like get as much wins as we can and try to like have fun. So we don't really like setting up some high goals. But it would be cool to get in the playoffs. I won't lie to you.
During the 2 games, Karis and I had a lot of fun discussing the talent picks on your team. Now, not in particular yourself, but I'm not sure if you yourself have any control over your teammates as captain in terms of what talents they pick. But there's a couple of things I did want to ask. There was the Diablo, the Alex in the first game.
Oh yeah.
The Alex Straza, you went for a full-on E build.
Yeah, he goes for
Dragon as well.
For E build. He tries to get like he likes the E build the most. Like he likes to play aggressive, so he tries to get as much value from the Dragon Queen, which is like a big, like almost an ultimate. So it secures the objective, and it helps with the Cleansing Flame as well. When we dive in. And auto attack build. I mean, I told him like countless of times it sucks, but he just likes it, so he goes for that.
Yeah, but we were discussing this when we saw it. We got so excited about the auto attack build on Diablo, but then the auto attack on level 13 and 16 wasn't picked up. So did you force him to change his mind, or what was the plan?
No, I didn't. I guess he what did he take? Did he take the Q quest?
Yeah, he took the Q quest at 13 and then took over power
I
at
guess
9.
it secures more kills than auto attacking Jade. But I still like his point of view. He likes to auto deck the front line. Like Garrosh and Blaze are constantly in his face, so he gets a lot of value from that. So I won't bother him.
We've got a question from the chat actually, which is, I already asked you this earlier, but how much did you prepare in terms of scouting the enemy team?
We didn't do much. They played the round one game just before us on stream, so we kind of looked at that like once or twice maybe, but we didn't see a lot in particular because they were like really stomping them.
Hmm.
I don't want to sound mean, but it was a dominant match both of the times. And we looked on the Heroes Launch website. It didn't show really much. It showed that they favor Tomb of the Spider Queen, but we were fine with that. So
Yeah.
we didn't really like try to do some wobble combo just for against.
So I know you banned Cursed Hollow as well. Like, what? Why is that?
Uh, like we were considering banning some other maps, but we kind of agreed on banning Curse Hollow. Not really in particular, but just don't really like it to be honest. But we have some comps for that map as well, so be prepared for that as well.
I did have to do a bit of research on your team by hot slogs, but I guess because this is the end of the game, I won't mention what I did spot. Um, in terms of what your heroes play, I did notice that you like all your teammates seem to love Nazebo. Though I in my head was prepared that Team Moonmoon are going to pick Nazebo every single time because just he's one of the most played heroes amongst you. Did you ever think about drafting him?
uh, we might now that you say that. I didn't know that everyone played Nazebo.
I
But
did some
yeah,
spying there.
I mean Nazebo's just a great character. The voice lines are great. The
Bra-
fantasy about it, bruh, he's great. We could do something. Yeah.
Karis, anything to add to that?
No, I think we've summed up a great match there. I mean, it seems, yeah, like I said before, you're looking like a very strong team, and
Oh, thank you.
A new
Uh,
team, very strong.
Yeah, as Imek said in the chat on Heroes Launch, we tried to do Cho'Gall comp. We tried to be cheeky with banning like Karazim, so it looks like we're banning it for the name and then get the Cho'Gall. But we didn't quite made it work. We didn't really play a lot of Cho'Gall amongst ourselves, so we kind of gave up on that idea.
That was a nice idea. Yeah.
okay. Well, unless, well, first of all, do you have anything more you want to say, Proximo? Do you want to shout out to any friends or family or
Well, shout
sponsors?
outs to
Pets.
shout out to all the pets, the Meadow, the Ben, and Noah. They are the dogs from our team. Shout out to everyone that rooted for us in chat. Shout out to Mala, which is my girlfriend. She's sitting next to me.
Aw.
And
Oh,
shout out
that's a
to you
question I've
guys
got to
for.
ask. Sorry, I've got to ask this question
Okay.
because I forgot completely. Does having a girlfriend in the team create any tension?
Uh,
You can't ask that question, Karis.
sometimes when she does something I do not approve of, I yell at her for face checking a bush with Liming. But other than that, it's
Okay.
uh. So thank you for casting the stream,
Oh.
and thanks to everyone,
Thank you for joining us.
and thanks to the enemy team. They played good.
Yeah, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. See ya.
Bye. So, yeah, that was a sort of devastating series from there from Team Moon Moon. They looked so strong, didn't they, Aaron?
They looked extremely strong. I wouldn't be surprised if I see them in top 5 at the end of the season, honestly. With the performance that they showed today in both games.
Yeah.
There was a few things. First of all, they were able to pull off the combo they planned, but their drafting skills were also very well done because there was a few things like drafting Greymane first pick and us not understanding the plot and plan behind it. So I do have to compliment them, and job well done in those two areas.
Yeah, I'd have to agree completely, and it just looked like they had all the answers, and like single target blow up was their idea in game number 1 on towers, and Self Palm Khara, who let's not forget are a lounge veteran team who are very strong themselves and won their first match very comfortably. They took stage dive and tried to play macro to respond. And what I like is the decision making from Team Moon Moon to execute, their blow up comp and force their idea to work over Self Palm Khara's idea. And I think, that was it showed kind of the strength of the team to be able to execute.
Yes.
Even in the face of a competing strategy.
Mm.
Well, that's I think that roughly rounds off tonight's shenanigans. Have you got any final thoughts for viewers at home?
I just want to remind viewers to possibly replay back and clip any moments that you thought were very good. If you do, I will be scouting the Hero Lounge clips sometime and possibly, view them and do something with them, hopefully in the future.
Something secretive. Also, if you are a Heroes Lounge Discord member, then if you find some cool clips of action in any of our casts, definitely share them in the community content channel on the Discord for other people to experience. Well, it's been a delight, Erin. It's been a delight having our meme cast. How have you felt about it?
I thought because for a bit of background for people, we have met each other and we are quite.
Wait, have we? Who are you?
We've met before, and we bring out not the best sides in each other. So I thought I'd say some things inappropriately on cast, but I didn't, and I'm very proud of myself. And it was a pleasure casting with you professionally in a professional environment.
Professional environment, yeah. Hey, but we earn 100 grand a week for this, for the viewers who don't know.
Of course.
We earn 100 grand a week.
What am I going to do with the money this week? Just so many decisions.
I know. Well, the thing is, my my garage is full of Ferraris already, so it's difficult.
But I got a Porsche last week, so I'm just I'm done with cars, honestly.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to end the show. So it's good night from me. Goodbye, everybody, and it's good night from Erin.
Bye. Good night.